Brother Lawrence, who was he? What was his techniques? And why could he change your life? I'm your focus coach. Lawrence was born around 1614 in the east of France. He becomes a soldier as a young man and gets his leg injured in a war with the Swedish. And this injury will handicap him for the rest of his life. Around 18, he has a spontaneous awakening, looking at a bare tree in a field in an autumn. He's looking at the tree and contemplating that there will be leaves and flowers and they will fall. And that's a decisive moment for him. Now, from my vantage point, I can cast this in Buddhist terms, but he only knew Christianity. And so for him, he had an experience of oneness with God. After the war, he gets small jobs, but he's clumsy and it doesn't really stick anywhere. So he ends up in a monastery in Paris and becomes a Carmelite monk. He eventually works there, first as a cook for 15 years, and then he repairs shoes. And he spoke quite unusually and behaved weirdly, not like the other monks. So eventually the high-level people in the church, like the bishop, they came and meet him, like, who's that guy? And they started writing letters to each other. And from these letters, that's what we know about him today. What is so special about Lawrence? Well, he practices what he calls the presence of God, okay? But I'll call it presence with a capital P, okay? I'll be removing most of the religious language because it distracts us from the core practice. So if you are spiritual, then go for it, embrace that side. But if you want, you can frame it as a secular practice, because it's grounded in experience, right? No faith is required for these practices. So to paint a picture, we have this large, clumsy guy with a lame leg that does the job of two people in the kitchen with no complaint, is neither rushing nor going slowly, is what we would say in absolute flow. He says, the time for action isn't different from the time of prayer. I am as quiet in the hustle of my kitchen, with several people asking for different things at the same time, as if I were on my knees praying in the church. He also goes on to say, I don't need to have a great project to work on. I flip my eggs in my pan for the love of God. And if I don't have anything to do, I am happy to pick up a little piece of straw on the floor. So I will teach you to enter this practice of presence. So I will first deconstruct it with an analogy, okay? So let's say your regular state is like a boat on the ocean, right? You are behind your eyes, centered in your head, and the world is outside, like the boat on the ocean. That's the base step. But from this base step, we will expand awareness and we will encompass the whole ocean by having awareness of awareness. And finally, the third step will be to put back your body, your thoughts and sensations in the picture and realize that you are more like a wave in this ocean, which is neither separate nor identical. So let's do this practice in 2 steps. In the first step, we will focus on the awareness itself. And then we will flip a switch and bring back all our experience inside it. So let's keep our eyes open. And it's important because in daily life, you always have your eyes open. Take a nice deep breath. And just ask your ego manager to step back and notice awareness itself. Notice my words appearing one by one in awareness without effort. Now send awareness all around you. Fill up the whole room around you with your awareness. Your field of visions, my words, everything just appears in awareness. There is no need for any effort. Now step 2. Maintain this feeling of big sky awareness and realize that everything is in it. Your thoughts, your body sensation, everything that your mind constructs. So plunge into this awareness, this sensation of awareness, knowing that the sensation of awareness and its contents are one. So I will repeat this slowly. In step 1, you realize there is an ocean of awareness, and in step 2, you realize you are a wave in it. The content and the context are intertwined. So now as you do this practice, maybe there's like a brief flash of presence. And the goal will be to stretch this into your daily life. There is an openness and an easiness to this feeling. So for me, this is non-dual meditation. And for Lawrence, it was the presence of God. This presence is intrinsically pleasurable. When you do a task fully, like Laurent flipping his omelette, you're absorbed, and it's a very soft flow that is enjoyable. There is a complete surrender to it as well. You're not in control anymore. In Zen we say, the great way is easy when you don't pick and choose. This is critical because the ego manager doesn't get to say, I like this or I dislike that. We don't let thoughts rise. Laurent said, and I quote, thinking doesn't count for much and love does everything. He also said, you need to keep on rejecting the beginning of thinking. For him, when the mind has bad habits of wandering, these are difficult to beat, and these thoughts are bringing us back to common things against our will. End quote. Well, talk about describing the difficulty of focus in the 21st century. So his remedy was to always pay attention even to the small things. Don't practice present only when you do the big things. Keep doing it in the mundane. We know that Lawrence was never complaining. He was never surprised by anything. And he was never afraid of anything. All the jobs were the same to him. At first he hated the kitchen, but eventually it became his best job. If you work in presence, you will learn to trust the not knowing. When you're not in your head, but yet you know what to do. When he was given a project, he wouldn't plan it too much. He would trust that he would find the correct course of action going along. He got sent to buy wine in Burgundy, and he said, well, I'll figure out how to travel there and do everything, with my bad leg and my pain. So let's recap. His presence practice is effortless. As soon as I focus, I feel my soul and my spirit rise without any effort and stay suspended and solidly fixed in its center as in a peaceful place. End quote. To do this, we do the presence practice. We unhook from the thinker or ego manager, and we open to awareness that's always there, inside and out, from which we can operate, and everything is in there. When you're in a cinema theater, you've got the screen, and you've got the movie projected, but you don't think like these two are separate, you're just watching the movie. So that's really similar for the content and context of awareness. That's our presence with a capital P. Chain these practice throughout the day. Not just for like a long coding session or the main works, but all the small moments of life. Even walking to the bus stop. Be especially wary of grabbing your phone, because the phone pulls you out of this presence. Because the phone is designed to make you uncomfortable and feel otherness. The phone is there to show a separation between you and the world. Lawrence died peacefully in 1691. And we have this wonderful teaching and a legacy for us to practice. If you're a Christian and wonder about non-dual meditation or a little curious, I would encourage you to read more about Lawrence. And if you're of another religion or secular, you can also have the same experience, but frame it in a different context. We desperately need effortless, pleasurable focus. And that's why following Lawrence's footstep is so important.